it open, I think, on the screen that she's sharing. Do you want them to or no? No. Okay.
Remember the my host back again, so when the moment is right. It's 8 o'clock.
Ahora. Okay, Rocío Monse.
Hey everyone, this is Monse and I'm here with my compa Rocio and we're going to be the interpreters for tonight.
Hola a todos, yo soy Rocío y estoy aquí con mi compa Monse. Vamos a ser las intérpretes de esta llamada.
So we were going to be using the interpretation function on Zoom. It has not yet turned on, but we're going to explain a little bit about how it works.
Entonces vamos a estar interpretando por medio de la función de intérpretes de Zoom. Todavía no se ha encendido, pero se va a encender en unos minutos.
So once it is turned on, it will appear as an icon at the bottom of your Zoom window, and it will look like a globe, and it will say interpretation available.
Una vez que este icono se encienda, aparecerá abajo de su pantalla, se verá como un globo que dice interpretación.
And again, this isn't turned on yet, but once that is enabled, you'll be able, thank you, Chloe, you'll be able to see what's on the screen right now, and it will have 3 options.
Una vez más, esta función todavía no se ha encendido, pero una vez que se encienda se verá de una de estas 2 maneras como se ve ahora en la pantalla.
So there will be an English channel, a Spanish channel, and an off channel.
Habrá un canal de inglés, un canal de español y también el modo apagado.
So the off function will be for bilingual participants if you choose to just hear the original audio.
El modo apagado es para aquellas personas que son bilingües que quieren escuchar todo el audio original.
If you want to listen in and participate in the call in English, you will select the English channel. If you want to listen in and participate in the call in Spanish, you will select the Spanish channel.
Y si quieren participar en esta llamada escuchando y participando en inglés, van a escoger el canal de inglés. Si quieren escuchar la llamada y participar en español, van a escoger el canal de español.
And there's also an option for muting the original audio. Sometimes with this function, you'll be able to hear the original audio and then the interpretation overpower it. But there is also an option where you could just choose to mute the original audio if that is better for you.
También hay otra opción que es apagar el audio original, silenciarlo, porque cuando no silencian el audio original, entonces se va a escuchar el audio original y más arriba la interpretación de la intérprete. Entonces también está esa opción de silenciarlo y solamente escuchar a la intérprete.
Perfect. So that's how Zoom interpretation will work. Just some tips to keep in mind. We are going to be interpreting into both languages. So whenever people are speaking English, we'll be interpreting into Spanish, and Spanish we'll be interpreting into English. So just keep in mind, keep at a moderate pace.
Entonces, así es como se va a ver esta función de interpretación y también un recordatorio que vamos a estar interpretando al español cuando se está hablando en inglés y al inglés cuando se está hablando en español. Así que les pedimos que hablen un poco a modo moderado, no tan rápido, por favor.
And just make sure to speak up as well. If you have a mic on your headset, make sure that you're speaking into that so that we're able to capture your message.
También esperamos a que hablen fuerte. Si tienen unos auriculares que tengan micrófono, entonces hablen al micrófono, así para escucharles bien y poder enviar el mensaje.
But thank you so much. Creating a multilingual space takes everyone's work. So thank you all for making this possible tonight.
Y muchísimas gracias porque el hacer un espacio multilingüe es un esfuerzo de todos. Entonces, muchísimas gracias a todos por todo el esfuerzo que ponen. Gracias.
So we invite anyone to bring their English, bring their Spanish, because we got y'all on the back end. We're going to be interpreting.
Así que les queremos decir e invitar a las personas a que traigan su español, traigan su inglés. Va a estar interpretada todo el tiempo, así que siéntanse cómodos y hablen el idioma que gusten.
Sweet. And at this time, we're ready to begin the interpretation.
Vamos a comenzar con la interpretación.
Okay. Y ahora todos
So
deben ver
now,
la opción.
everybody should see the option.
Let's try now.
Yes? Yes? Can you not hear me? Oh. I can. And I can hear you.
A ver, ahora.
What about now? Can you hear me in English through Rocio?
Yes.
Maybe I'm going to make you a host. And we have begun on Facebook. Let's begin in Facebook. So tell me when we're live on Facebook. When we're live, I'm going to start presenting and giving the welcome. Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening to everyone in our community. We are in Charleston and we are here tonight. It's a very special night since we have a very important talk for everyone in the community. So this Charla Comunitaria for the city plan, we've talked about this topic a lot in the last few weeks. There will be interpretation into Spanish and we hope that you listen to us, and to everyone who's here, we want to thank you all. And right now I want to pass the message to Tatika, who's going to lead us into the program. So thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here for the community conversations for the city plan. We thank you so much for spending your evening with us to have this conversation. My name is Tatika Robinson, and I am your lead facilitator for this evening. And I have the pleasure of working with the city plan team, as well as other consultants that are on the call, and as well as ArtPot and Aquí Estamos. Am I, oh, sorry. For this evening, we are going to have introductions. Then we're going to go over what is the plan. And then we will have a group conversation, just open dialogue with a couple of questions that will help lead us in conversation. And then we will go into appreciation and next steps. What is the plan? I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to Chloe Stuber.
Thank you, Tatika.
De nada.
So we want to do the introductions first or not with everyone?
We can, do we want to go through, we can go through all of them, that's fine. So as I stated, I am Tatika Robinson. I'm your lead facilitator for this evening, and I'm one of the consultants on the team working towards community engagement for the city plan. And I'll go ahead and call out the names and have everyone introduce themselves. Chloe. Jim.
Hello, my name is Jim Hemphill. I am a planner with the City of Charleston, and I'm so happy to be here with you all tonight. And yeah, thanks.
Okay. Julie.
Hi, my name is Julie Hussey, and I am working with Tatika and Lydia and Marisol to help do the public engagement for this plan with the city, and I'm really excited to be here.
Christopher.
Hey, I'm Christopher Morgan with the City Planning Department, and I'm so excited to be taking part in this event tonight and seeing how it all comes together. So we really appreciate your being here.
Lydia. You're on mute.
I always have to make sure I'm unmuted. I'm sorry you see me every week, but hi to everyone. Thanks to everyone who's here.
Thank you, Lydia. Maribel.
Good evening. We hope that you have some patience because the information we're going to be giving is in Spanish for part of it. So please just wait. There's going to be a conversation in Spanish too. So patience. Thank you.
Do our interpreters want to reintroduce themselves, or you're good? Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, we are working with the dynamic interpreter team that you're hearing behind the scenes. So we're grateful for them. All right. So sure. But just before we shift off, I just wanted to state that the other two consultants working on the team that aren't here this evening are Eric Jackson and Anjane Davis with Community Solutions Consulting. They are out in the community right now handling a community emergency. So thank you so much for all the work they've done. And in their absence, we wanted to make sure you all knew who they were. And so the other individuals who have gathered with us this evening. We're so glad for y'all to be here this evening to join us on this. You could have been doing anything else. So we're glad that you're here. So Marisol. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Luigi. You're on, I think you're on mute. We can't hear you. If it's, oh. No, how about this? You can still try to see what you can do. If you want to, if it doesn't work, you can type it in there and we'll be more than happy to make sure it's stated. Jonathan?
programs around here. This is our 25th anniversary, so woo-hoo, happy birthday to us. And I'm so excited to be here. I did get to look at the plan recently, and I am so excited for the future of the city, and I'm excited to, share the knowledge with everybody watching.
Thank you. Thank you for your energy and excitement too.
Tatika, before we continue, we're having an issue with the language that is being heard on the Facebook channel. So if we're going to take a technical difficulty pause here for a second. Y Lidia, no te escucho.
Oh, Luigi, I think you're working now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but hold on just one moment, please.
Sí.
Espera un momento.
Tomando una pausa porque la idioma que está saliendo en la página Facebook no está saliendo en inglés o el audio original y no en español. Entonces, Lidia, ¿puedes probar saliendo de la interpretación y inténtalo otra vez? Elegir la opción de español.
Listo. Pedimos a la
¿Listo?
comunidad que
Ok.
nos digan si lo están escuchando en español, por favor. Muchas gracias a todos.
Yo te puedo avisar, Lidia. Lo estoy chequeando por eso mismo.
Ya, verifica. Gracias
Yeah.
por
Will you let us know? Thank you for the community, for the patience that you have with us, so that you're able to hear it in Spanish. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, testing. No. No, todavía está saliendo el audio original.
Queremos que la comunidad nos ayude a decir, parece que la forma se va el
We
audio.
want for the community to let us know.
Para saber si va a salir el audio. Y siempre se demora un poquito.
Yes, so we have a lapse of take a little bit time to translate, so let me know if you can hear it. The community is talking to me right now. Thank you so much.
La comunidad me está hablando ahorita. Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Continuemos. Gracias. Continue. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
No
Great.
sé qué hacer. ¿Verdad? No sé qué hacer.
I really don't know what to do, so.
Oh, Chloe, just so you know, Lydia and Chloe, we still have one more person to introduce. Luigi's mic is back on, so I wanted to make sure that everybody got to meet him.
Hola, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Mi nombre es Luigi Bravo. Soy
My
de
name is Luigi Bravo.
Muy contento de estar aquí el día de hoy.
Here today.
Gracias, Luigi. All right, now we're going to hand it over to Chloe.
Hola, hola. ¿Me escuchan?
Hello, can you hear me?
Gracias a todos por su paciencia.
Thank you everyone for your patience.
Tenemos muchas problemas técnicos.
We have a lot of technical problems tonight. Livia, do we have other participants waiting to enter?
Bienvenida, Marta.
Welcome, Marta.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Muchas
Finalmente.
gracias. Marta.
Marta.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Buenas noches. Gracias por venir.
Thank you for coming.
Fue un poquito difícil,
It
pero
was a little hard, but here we are.
no se escucha la traducción.
I don't think the interpretation is being heard.
Pues a la parte de abajo de la pantalla.
In the bottom of the screen, there is a globe. Do you see that globe? If you click the globe and then you select your language that you want to listen in on.
Ahora sí.
Now can you hear it? Yeah, now you can hear it.
¿Hablan alguien?
Can someone speak?
Can you hear me?
Perfecto.
Muy bien.
Perfect.
Muy bien. Pues bienvenida.
Okay, welcome.
Okay. Otra vez.
Let's
Pues
do it again.
no voy a hablar mucho sobre
I'm
esta
not going to
parte.
talk too much about this part because we want to give time at the end
Discutir, platicar.
so that we can discuss and talk.
Pero voy a dar
But
un poquito de introducción
I'm
sobre
going to
qué
give a
es lo
little
que estamos
introduction
haciendo.
about what the plan is that we're talking about.
No es
So what is the
el
city
plan,
plan? And it's
es
not
un
just any
requisito del
plan.
estado de Carolina del Sur.
It's
Se
a
requiere
requirement of the
un plan
South
cada 10
Carolina
años.
state. They require us to do a plan every 10 years.
Mejor. Okay.
Better.
Y lo hacemos en colaboración con la
And we do this in collaboration
y se adoptó el
with
municipal.
the Parks and Recs and has
Como
been
dije,
adopted
lo
by
revisamos cada
the
10
City
años
Council. And like I said, we review it
lo
every
actualizamos
10
cada
years
5
and
años.
we review it every 5 years.
Lo que hace el plan.
What does the plan do?
Sí, se puede hacer recomendaciones para el futuro. Pero
Yes,
no
make
cambia
recommendations for the
la
future, but it
viene
doesn't
después
change
de
it.
hacer el
That
plan.
comes after
Y
doing the plan.
también usa información
And it
objetiva
also
y
uses
análisis
objective information and analysis.
aporte de
It
todos.
incorporates
Entonces, esa
input
es la
from
parte
everyone. So
preguntar
that's
a la
part of it,
comunidad
asking the community what they want to do.
y sí informa decisiones diarias.
And it does
Christopher,
inform daily
mi
decisions.
colega que está aquí,
Christopher, my colleague that's here tonight,
literalmente tiene el
literally
plan
has the plan
enfrente de él
in
cada
front
día.
of him every day.
Entonces es muy importante.
So it's really important.
Tampoco cambia las reglas,
It also doesn't change the rules or other things. Those other things can come after the recommendations, but the plan itself does not do that. And it also doesn't give recommendations for specific policies, detailed policies. So how we say in English, big picture.
Pero las políticas deseadas vienen después
But
en planes de áreas más pequeñas.
then later that comes in like smaller areas.
Cubre 10 elementos principales
It covers 10 key elements like population, economic development, national resources, cultural resources, community facilities, housing, land use, transportation, priority investment, resilience, and sustainability. The resilience and sustainability isn't required, it's optional, but we decided to include that because it's really important for our community. Because since we are on the coast and the climate change that we're facing. So this is the area of the plan. So when we say Charleston, a lot of the times we want to say a much larger space than the city. But the plan, the city plan that we're talking about tonight, will only encompass this area that includes Kenoi Peninsula. That's also where Daniel Island is, the peninsula, West Ashley, Johns Island, and James Island. You can see this line, this black line here, around the area of the plan. This is the limit of urban growth, the boundary, urban growth boundary. So outside the boundary should remain rural, while inside the boundary allows urban and suburban development. So that's the process of the plan. There's a few phases and we're in the first phase. We are now defining conditions and establishing a shared vision. After this first phase, the staff and the Planning Commission is going to be applying the recommendations from community. Then we will be finalizing the plan. Once we finalize the plan, we're going to be moving the community. And we're also going to be presenting the draft of the plan and see if they have any more comments or addition, revising it, and then finalizing the plan. There are also a few other plans that will inform this plan. The West Ashley plan, the transportation plan, the Dutch dialogues is a report on how we can live in harmony with water, housing for Fair Charleston, which is about housing, and then that's also one that we have around the region. And we also have one around parks and recs, and we'll talk more about that as well. And at the end, the plan is rooted in 4 basic guiding principles. First, water, like I said before. The climate is changing, so the plan is going to be anchored in where water is and where water is going to be in the future. Data smart, it doesn't sound as good as in English, or as it does in Spanish. But with this, we'll be wanting to use the best data available to understand the challenges that we're facing as a city, as a community. Also, strength in diversity. So when we're in the process to do a plan, we want to orient ourselves and our actions that protect our city's historic diversity. And the last one is community empowered. This is why we're all here tonight, because we want to ask everyone in the community to partner in the planning process and be part of the conversation. And that's it. So if there's questions, please, you can put them in the comments on Facebook or in the chat for the participants that are here tonight. And if you're on Facebook, I'm going to also put our email and the phone number that you can call or send a WhatsApp message to, however you wish.
Fatika?
Yes, sorry, I couldn't hear you when you, I didn't want to talk unless you were done. So, all right, thank you, Chloe. All right, so now that Chloe has given you all an overview of what the plan is and what it does and does not do, we hope that will help to get the conversation started for this evening. I just want to let you know we have 3 questions that we have come up with to help guide the conversation. However, because we're in an intimate space this evening, we welcome you to converse with each other, to engage with each other as if we were having a dialogue together in one space. The only difference is we just have a couple questions to help guide the conversation.
Que les guíe en la conversación, así que vamos a seguir con estas preguntas. Las preguntas son, una,
What do you like most about your community?
¿qué les gusta más acerca de su comunidad? ¿Qué es lo que la hace especial? La misión del Departamento de Planeación es para mejorar la calidad de vida para todos en Charleston. Los planes que realizamos se tratan principalmente de las características físicas de nuestras comunidades. ¿En qué piensas cuando piensas de la calidad de vida, entre comillas? ¿Qué es lo que piensas? En tu experiencia, ¿qué es lo más importante para la calidad de vida? Especialmente los aspectos del ambiente físico. Número 3, el plan guiará decisiones y políticas en la planeación de la ciudad en los próximos 10 años. ¿Qué debería estar priorizado para mejorar la calidad de vida para la gente en su comunidad?
So we'll go ahead and get started with question number 1. And that question is,
Entonces comenzaremos con la primera pregunta. ¿Qué les gusta más? Quiero reconocer que tenemos a alguien más que llegó.
oh, I think she left. Okay. We did have an extra person entering the space and I wanted to acknowledge her. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with question number 1. What do you like most about your community and what makes your community special? And anyone can begin and share.
So I think I can probably go first. Hey guys, so for my community, I feel very fortunate because I belong to 2 very great communities, the Latinx community here in Charleston and the queer community in Charleston. And I can honestly say, you know, I feel very humbled to be surrounded by an amazing group of people. One thing I love about our community is that we come together during a time of crisis and a time of need. When there are folks who need extra assistance, you know, there's a group, there's organizations who are there to support each other, to help other human beings who might need other assistance. So that's what I love about our community here in Charleston. And also, it's a great network to connect with other people. We're very inviting here. I love when people come into our office and say, oh, I just moved here from Connecticut or somewhere in the middle America. And I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. Welcome to Charleston. Let's get to know you. How can we mingle? What do you need connections with and stuff like that? And I think, you know, being in the queer community and the Latin community here, it's so great that we have, you know, like a mini family for us, because a lot of us are transplants here.
Jonathan, can you share what area out of the ones that Chloe picked up that you live in?
I actually live a little bit north, almost going into the North Charleston area.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm around.
But your business is We Are Family is located downtown though, correct?
We're on the outskirts of our school.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yep. So
we still welcome you. We still welcome you. Just wanted to see if there was a geographical footprint that crossed over.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you for
up there
sharing. Awesome. Thank you for sharing and being here. Anyone else would like to share what they love most about their community?
I would.
Yeah.
Oh.
Antes de seguir, yo quería avisar a
Before we
todos.
go on, I wanted to let everyone know
Zoom cambió,
that Zoom has changed.
no sé cuándo, pero
I don't know when,
acaban
but
de informarme que
they just informed us that now we can't do the transmission in this is audio on Facebook. So if you can and are comfortable to speak in Spanish, we ask you to speak Spanish so that the people on the Facebook page can listen and understand better. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Marisol, before you get started then, let me just, so that those that are listening on Facebook, Jonathan, I know you can't recap everything you said with all your energy and excitement, but would you mind just kind of recapping? Because for those that didn't hear you, I don't want them to miss what you shared.
Sí, a ver si me puedo acordar.
All right, let's see if I can remember everything that I said. So what I said was that I love the community that we have in Charleston. I belong, and I am fortunate to belong to the Latinx community here. And we are like a small little family. If someone needs something, if someone's new, then I like that we always invite them as if we have known each other for a long time or we're relatives. That's what I like about our community here. So our office is just right out of downtown in North Charleston area. We are in the center of the county, the Charleston County, and I like that people know if they need some type of resources or some type of support, they know to come, and like that we have a network of people that we can help.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. And Marisol.
La pregunta es,
So the question is what it is I like best about my community. One of the things I liked about Jones Island, for me personally, I love is that we are a rural area, and just like a mom of 3 children, I love how we are very close to the downtown, to Ashley and to these areas. We're not in the middle of everything though, so I really like that, and that's what I like about my community. I can't wait for the second question so that I can talk about it and about what we hope and wish for in our community.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to share? Luigi?
I can say that I've been living in the city for 20 years, doing events, and I found that in all of the years, we have always been welcome as a culture. Even though we're from different countries, I have always felt very welcomed. I've made events for 15 years for the Cinco de Mayo festivals, and seeing that through music and food we can share and feel welcome, and that's a blessing. And tools like this that help us participate and being part of the future, it's very important. So I feel very, very happy to be here with you all.
Thank you, Luigi. Martha or Maribel?
I was just taking my microphone off. Sí. Bueno, a mí me...
So, to me, I don't live directly in the Charleston Peninsula area. However, I work in downtown. And I really like
los cambios que se están haciendo.
The changes are being done to make it more comfortable. Or at least the area where we work, there's a lot of people that work in downtown. I love that they have finally put a public supermarket in the area. It's very well welcomed. It's needed for the people that are attending to their families at the hospitals. And I think it's very important what it is that is trying to be worked in regards to transportation so that we can try to fix the traffic problem going from one end to another. We were a small city and now it's growing into a big city. So there's lots of traffic and very few roads. And that's what I like to see, that it's being planned and it's being thought about. And also, what's most important to me is to be able to have that opportunity to participate with you all in something that's so important, such as planning what it is we can do from now on and explain what it is I think. So thank you.
Thank you. Maribel?
Bueno, primero hay
Okay,
personas
so first of all, there are people that are getting connected and they are asking what this is about. So
Do you want to
I
share?
just want to share for those that just got connected. So we are talking about the city plan, which is a plan that's done in the city of Charleston every 10 years, and it implies all of the design and the spaces of where parks going to be located, where schools and supermarkets going to be located, or where they are, and if it really helps the population to live in a very harmonious environment, and what it implies to have a sustainable space. I'm not gonna say it all, but to me, something that catches my attention, and I don't know that it has to do with the question, but there's cities in other states where the Hispanic presence is notable in certain areas, whether it be because of the type of business or the how colorful some neighborhoods are, or if we talk about the big city like New York, we know there's a Chinatown, we know that there's an Italian neighborhood, etc. Something that I really love about Charleston since I came and I fell in love with it, something that it still lacks is that I don't feel that it feels multicultural. I think that this is a personal opinion. I think one of the possibilities to grow as human beings and building and nurturing each other is to be multicultural in all senses, just like we are from different communities and places, even though we speak the same language. And I see that the African American communities in certain areas, and then Hispanic people are in certain areas. And is this thought about mixing and not segregating and separating these neighborhoods?
Awesome. Thank you.
Pregunta difícil. Es una pregunta para nosotros
That's
ahora
a
mismo.
very, very hard question. Is that what you're asking us right now? Right now? So about integration, this topic is not easy. And in the way that we want to mix the opportunities to provide, opportunities to mix along the city is a plan, yes, to direct where people will be living. It's not directly something that we include in the plan. But for example, in a crazy idea that I just had right now, what if the city had the opportunity to facilitate that certain communities can develop their businesses in certain areas, or can define that just to facilitate it in some type of practice in the city, for example. And then I have heard things like, oh, they want to display certain areas where African Americans have lived so that the area looks better. Those social problems are analyzed during the time of making a new plan.
Sí,
Yes,
sí, es buena idea.
yes, that's a good idea.
O sea, es una opinión porque yo pienso que el espacio por sí
It's
mismo
an opinion. I can see the space being nice in a design, but more than just that, we are human beings. That's why we want to foster people opinionating. Even though the city is beautiful and to have such a lively city, we have nature, there's so much vegetation in the sea, but sometimes I just feel like the human is very disconnected and separated. There's some groups that are very unified, but there's lots of divisions. And I think one of the things that is important for the city plan is that, not just the physical.
Pues gracias por compartir. Esa es la
Thanks
primera
for
vez que he
sharing.
escuchado
That's the first time I hear that in these type of
entonces gracias por compartir.
meetings, and I think it's very important. So thank you for sharing. Can I say something?
See,
Okay.
yes. It's an open conversation and dialogue, just so you know. So we encourage that. Thank you, Marisol.
Muy bien. Sí, gracias, Maribel. El fenómeno.
So thanks, Maribel. The gentrification phenomenon, that's what it is. I think that's what Maribel is talking about. It's something that it hurts, just like how she expressed it. It feels so awful how much we fight to keep this harmony and that unity in the areas, but we see that it's in our face.
¿Cómo se dice? Está bien.
It's we can see it. We can see it. So the question is, we know that the topic is the city has touched on it. I think Jim is nodding. He knows what we're talking about. I think that hopefully at the end of our conversations, if we keep talking and then 2-3 years from now, we can see the fruit and we can see and feel that we were included, that our voices were heard, that we can see a change because it's real, and specifically in the area where I live, Jones Island. We are in the middle of that phenomenon.
Yo sé que hay algo que se puede
And
hacer.
I know there's something that can be done if we talk about it.
Yo también quiero compartir.
I also would like to share the fact that I think it's necessary to continue to advance and grow, and that we have to have building. And I also think that it's really important whenever we're planning something like this, that there's not always, we don't always have to destroy all the trees in order to build houses. We can build houses and have trees as well, because I see trees being taken down, and this is just to be able to produce money, to keep producing money, build new houses. And it's painful to see because we are damaging our atmosphere. And we have a lot that we can do. We don't have to take down all the trees. And we don't just have to build with metal.
Continuar, quiero pedirle a todos en
Yeah,
la
and before continuing, I want to ask everyone in the community, I want to thank you all for listening to what we're hearing. Thank you, Maribel, for bringing this topic because this is really important. But really, really share what we're, and think a little bit more about what's being talked about. We can say different things, and I mean, on my part, I would love to see the support of our Hispanic community with our Black community, also our LGBTQ community. We need to support each other. We need to see us in different areas so we can flourish as Hispanics. And we want to come into this world that's, you know, different. I love Charleston. I've been here 30 years, but I can tell you that there's so much that we still need to go through, that we still need to walk through. You know, thank you so much for this opportunity, and stay in touch.
Thank you, everyone. So I'd like to give us an example. So let me just, you kind of already touched on it, Maribel, by starting the conversation. So let me just touch on what the second part is so that we can think a little bit more with specifics. So the mission of the planning department is to improve the quality of life for all people in Charleston. The plans we implement primarily address the physical environment of our communities. When you think of quality of life, what do you think of in your experience? What is most important for quality of life, especially when you think of the physical environment? And I'm gonna remind everyone of what Chloe mentioned in her slides in the beginning when she was saying, what is the plan? Remember, the plan talks about population, economic development, natural resources, cultural resources, community facilities, housing, land use, transportation, priority investment, and resilience. So I want to open that up for us to talk about. So when you think of that, when you think of quality of life, what do you think of in those areas? And what do you think is most important for quality of life in the physical environment?
May I go?
Yes, you sure can.
Very good. So when I think of cuando pienso en calidad,
When I think about quality of life, specifically for our community and our area, I think it's like better quality of our streets. They're really ruined, not just the main ones, but the majority of our streets look like side streets. Johns Island is really developed, and we don't see it getting better. Our streets are really dark in Johns Island. There's not appropriate lighting. For example, in Johns Island, we lack parks where our youth and our families
formas de recreación.
can have different ways for recreation. And that for me, when we're lacking all these resources, for me, the quality of life is not at an adequate level.
Yo pienso que otra cosa importante
I also think that another important part in terms of quality of life, I think that there's also appropriate signage on the streets. And the signage, the signs, they don't have street names, or the signs have fallen, or nobody knows where they're going. If it wasn't for Google, we would easily get lost because the street signs don't have numbers, and it's really hard when someone first arrives. It's important for people to use that. So the signs, if there's been areas where there's been construction, pick up the signs that construction is done, because there's still signs and cones in the middle of the street, which are dangerous for others. And something that I would love to just put on record, in different meetings that I've participated in the community here on Johns Island, and there's also been even developers that, I don't know how you say developers,
Construyen, compañías que
but
construyen.
people who build, who are doing construction, have been in the conversation, and I'm talking about 3-4 years back. But our main roads, where there's a majority of neighborhoods, there's not a bike lane. If we go to areas like downtown, was Ashley, we're not going to talk about Mount Plaza, but in all the areas, wherever you move, there's this type of bike lanes. Our high school is in the heart of Johns Island, and our youth, if they live close to the high school, they could either walk or go on their bikes, or the middle school.
Yo he visto chicos caminando con el zacate casi a la
I've
rodilla.
seen kids walk on the side, on the grass, almost close to the road. They have to walk home. And
Se pudiese escribir o algo, sería como un dream come true, un sueño hecho
it would be
realidad.
like a dream come true for this area of Johns Island,
Por ejemplo,
that there's like a road or a trail to the high school, because there's like a mall that is kind of like the heart of Johns Island.
Thank you, Marisol. Would anyone else like to contribute?
Yo lo que quería agregar tiene que
Yeah,
ver con
what I wanted to add has to do with what Marisol was saying. And I feel like that there's spaces needed where people can have more contact. Well, not now because we're living in COVID, but I think that we need different little places. I think that I can only see people downtown, like King Street, because the rest is like a mall or a street, but just like a space where we can have like a social life, or like a park, or a part, I don't know, just like you either go to the bigger parts. And I think that it has to do with that. We need more spaces where people can socialize, can just walk or on bikes. I think that there's a lot of streets for cars, that people are in cars all the time, and that's what I need.
Cuando hablamos del tema de calidad de vida,
I think that when we're talking about the quality of life, we're talking about transportation. And just like how you were saying, if there's like a way for us to get to work, a park or a library that was easy to get to, I know that we're going to be able to share more and spend more time with our family, with other folks. And I think that that's one of the most important points when we're talking about quality of life, because everything goes related. And if we give them peace of mind, their transportation, arriving to work, coming back, and having extra time with their family, I think that that as quality of life is important. And this is where transportation comes in, the spaces to share, just community spaces.
nuestras culturas que
And
viviendo en un país que nos
yeah, in our culture, we're,
y pienso que eso es una de las cosas
and I think that
importantes
that's one of the important things.
con estas herramientas que tenemos el día de hoy con ustedes y compartir nuestras ideas.
And yeah, this space that we have to share our ideas and the space together, I think that thinking about the future is something really important. It lets us show, I mean, we're seeing, and being included is important for us.
Calidad de vida es tener letreros en español,
Quality of life is
entender en nuestro lenguaje,
having
tener
something in
información,
Spanish,
tener un website,
having information, having a website that shows us in Spanish. We don't all speak English, so that's quality of life. We're not just gonna say, I mean, we're not gonna take in that many things because if we don't know what it is, and I think that that's also gonna be really important.
Thank you, Lydia, and everyone who has contributed. Does anybody else have any additional thoughts they'd like to share that has not spoken? Okay. All right. So our third question is, the plan will inform policy decisions in the city over the next 10 years. What should be prioritized to improve the quality of life for people in your community? So out of the things that you all already shared, is there anything that you would lift up that you would say is priority that the city should make note of?
Yo pienso que pues prioridad es
I'd say that priority would be the first phase where we need to let folks know how they can participate. And, you know, on our side, it might be like inviting them to participate and share their ideas.
Y como yo dije antes, empezar a ver el esfuerzo de la ciudad.
Just like I said, to be able to see the effort from the city, the results, to see that something is being done. Because we could, and we have had conversations for years, very rich conversations, and we say, yes, it's a good, like, this is something that we should work on. But then time goes on, and then we're still here talking again. So
La ciudad de Charleston
City of Charleston has had a long time with me. Unless God decides on something else, it'll be a long time with me. So in 10 years, in my area, I would like to see a field, a soccer field, a real soccer field.
Baseball field.
A baseball field. You know that we have to go right outside the city of Charleston. No, sorry, outside of Jones Island, so that our kids go and play. We have a lot of space. There's lots of land here. And we see every day, well, not every day, but every time we see communities that are blooming, but these communities don't have parks, and we don't see a baseball park around. And we have very few resources that are very, very important to be able to enrich the quality of life for the families. Something that I wanted to see that the city of Charleston is doing is the first Latino council, the Latinx council in the history of the city. It's a big step. It's a very important step. So in that area, I think that with that, it depends from that group to keep continuing the work so that we can work with the community.
Algunos de nuestros compañeros aquí son
Some people already said and are members, and I really appreciate that, and I'm thankful for that.
Yo pienso de
I
que
think that the city of Charleston
nos a la
is showing us in the Hispanic community, to the Latinx
nos están
community, that they're trying to give us a welcome.
internet de la
The
ciudad de Charleston
City of Charleston webpage has begun to have some parts and comments in Spanish. There is some documentation in the webpage of little businesses in Spanish, and there's a few COVID information in Spanish in the Charleston City webpage. And so I want to thank you for that, because that's the only way that we can
diferentes a nosotros empiecen
make sure that people who are different from us, that they feel that it's also their city, and that it's good to invest their lives, not only their homes, but in the city. They should feel that this is my town. This is where my roots will be. This is where my children will grow. And with these gestures, we are being able to show people little by little that this is their home, and that it's good to give your opinion, and it's good to think and want to know that you want to contribute. But we need to let them know in their language, in a simple level, like these things, so that they can understand and share with us and with you what it is that you hope to get from us.
Quiero apoyar lo que dijo Marta, pero
I would like to support what Marta said, but I also would like to add more to that.
que muchos de
I
esos
have been witness that some of these achievements, that some things are in Spanish, has a lot to do with Lydia. Not just because she's here, but it's the truth. Because when I arrived here, this didn't used to happen. And I've seen how Lydia has fought, and even Lydia has said it, and she's a great example. But the thing is that there could be more people like her, and we are lacking that leadership to take a step up. Marisol is doing it in Jones Island. I know you're doing a great work there, and I know some people are doing it, that Lydia is motivating them. But I think that we have a responsibility as well, because we listen, we see, but we don't talk. We don't take that step forward. But there's a lot of people who could do this council or whatever, but some people don't take that step, and there's people who have the talent to make it. And we hope that, and we're waiting for people to give us things, but the city is doing its part. But then who was behind it? A Latinx that said, we need these to be in Spanish, otherwise the city wouldn't have put it out there. That's why we have these meetings, because every person that is watching this, in a way, not everybody steps up, but maybe some people say things in private, or talks to Lydia or Chloe or whatever. But we have to speak up. We have to participate. Otherwise, things won't just come into fruition on their own.
Problema que tenemos en nuestra
The
comunidad.
problem that we have in our community, just like Maribel said, and Jones Island, is that the Latinx who are citizens are not connecting to the grassroots. Most of our Hispanic community is a community that doesn't really speak the language, doesn't really have the documentation, and we are not facing openly, because there's a very few people that are doing that are like giving their face. And so until we don't unify, and thanks to Charleston City, thanks to Chloe, thanks to everybody that is trying, and in Spanish, as you can see it. But we honestly need those Latinx cities, US citizens, that can help and bring some work and form a Latinx council, so that we can finally help the grassroots. Because We speak the language.
Ya, yo soy
We
blanca.
are citizens. Look, I'm white.
Problema, comprende.
I have no problems, right? They are, we have so many family and relatives in Charleston, in West Ashley, in Long Island, and Charleston, where they need us to support, integrate, and look for the help. The needs of a Latinx is not necessarily work. We have a good workforce, but it's not the roads. You know, that's fear. It's the fear of speaking up. It's the fear of going and write a complaint to the police. It's a fear to go into the city hall. It's just fear of getting into a complex situation. And that's where the same Latinx people need to go help, because they are doing their job and giving us the tools, but now we need to also step it up.
Mil gracias, señora Lidia.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Lydia. I'm going to take advantage to like piggyback from what you just said, and I'm going to talk specifically to the people who are in this area in Just Island, because I'm still sharing messages and emails to those people that I know have the potential, but they don't want to step up. So this is a call. Please see, the city of Charleston is trying as much as possible, but there's a lot to be done. So everyone here can bring an improvement if we all get together and if we want to step it up, just like Lydia said, talk, you know, let us know what it is that you need, and together we will be able to accomplish it. So you all know who you are.
Thank you, everyone. That was a great dialogue and discussion. And I love how you all engage with each other. It really means a lot, because in this space, the goal is to create community and for everyone to feel like they can connect and share based on their real lived experiences of wherever you are in your knowledge with the plan, as well as just what your experience of living in Charleston. And no one knows that experience more than you. So to be able to share that, we really appreciate that. No one wants their anyone to speak for them. So in this space, we appreciate you joining in collectively to speak on behalf of the Latinx community, for those that don't have access to internet or don't have access to Facebook or whatever that case may be. So making sure that those voices are heard. Thank you so much for lifting that up. I think, Chloe, we're about at time to go ahead and shift to the closeout. So I just want to, before we close out, and when I say close out, we'll shift into appreciation and thank yous and next steps. I just want to just pause and say, if there's anything else additional that you all want to add, you definitely, or for those that are listening on Facebook as well, if you have any additional thoughts after this session, please do reach out to Lydia or to our email for the City of Charleston. We have that email address that we can share, because the thoughts don't have to stop here in this evening, in this moment. If you think about something that impacts you in the areas that the city plan is focused on, what's important to you, what you love, what would help make your experience in living here in Charleston feel like it's equitable to everything else that you see when you go around Charleston, please do share your thoughts and we will make sure that they are included. Chloe, do we have like a deadline for them in case someone listens to this later, up into a certain point of when, you know, I know people will continue to listen, that they don't send it and it miss the deadline? We can't hear you if you're about to talk.
See,
yes and no. So we will finish with the poll and with the meetings this month. And by November 2nd, we will go to the next phase of applying the recommendations. But you can send an email or call me at any time. So this process to involve the community doesn't really stop. It will continue and it should be that way. Lori, just a question. So what about the questionnaire, the survey that you sent and the one that you have sent to the community? Have you seen a good response from the people? Are people sharing, contributing, responding in a way in English or Spanish? If I heard your question correctly, is if we are seeing a response from the community, if they are doing that. Yes, a lot. In English and Spanish or just Spanish? I don't know the numbers in
I don't know the
Spanish.
Spanish numbers right
I
now.
don't have access. But maybe Jim, can you say? Can you see it?
Voy a compartir la encuesta.
So I'm going to share what we're talking about, which is this survey.
Eso fue en español, charlestoncityplan.com, encuesta, no survey.
So in Spanish, it will be encuesta, not survey. Let me see, I'm going to change it real quick.
Ahora sí, okay.
Okay, now.
Ahora sí, okay. Entonces.
Okay, now. So for the ones that are watching and us here now, please stay tuned, share out how folks have been talking and already saying. It's really important for folks to participate, so you can learn more on charlestoncityplan.com/español or charlestoncityplan.com/encuesta. So to find it here in Spanish, it's going to be encuesta. charlestoncityplan.com/encuesta, and I put it in the chat. And there's also the option to host your own talk. You don't need us to be there. If you want to invite your community, to your friends, to hold your own talk, that's also an option. Contact us if you need to do that and invite more people into the community. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, the City of Charleston. We also have a list on YouTube where you can look for the next meetings. We also have a newsletters where we send info about just updates about what's going on. Chloe, can I explain it? Yeah, I just want the community to please don't forget of the faces here. Don't forget Chloe, don't forget Jim, don't forget the faces that are here. We definitely have Christopher. These people have worked really hard to try to help us in the community. We can't forget them. We need to get sure, yeah, definitely Chloe. We need to make sure that we fill out this survey for them. We're going to be doing a campaign. We have folks, and we ask you to fill out the survey and do it for these folks who really put in the work in order for this to be a thing. So please, we ask you to fill it out as we start with this campaign. And thank you. And just to say, this survey is all in Spanish. All the questions are in Spanish, and they're easy. Personally, I answered it in Spanish, and then I answered another one in English, so I could see the difference. And it's doable. It's not complicated. And I really thank y'all.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Marta.
Thank you for doing both too. That's great. Chloe, I don't want to, do you want to close out the remaining, or you want me to go ahead and?
Oh.
Okay, well, Chloe's working her tech skills under her editing tech skills over there.
Pues también quería compartir porque
I also wanted to share because some folks talked about parks, and specifically Johns Island, and another department, the Parks and Recs department, is also making a plan, and we're collaborating. So we're going to share y'all's comments with them. But if you want to get in contact with them directly,
que se puede contestar en inglés o
they also
español.
have a survey that can be answered in English or Spanish. And they have two websites. So I'm going to drop these links also and their Facebook page. But I hope that you all can participate in this plan as well, because it's really important. It's the first plan, the first master plan for Parks and Rec in Charleston ever. They have never had a plan before, so it's really important.
Sí.
Oh, that's incredible.
Voy a dejar el enlace en el chat.
Y es muy interesante y
I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Yeah, and it's really interesting and comforting that it's in both languages. So you can't say that you don't know. We're sharing.
Exacto.
Okay. Ya es todo.
And that's it.
Whoa, not yet. We have to we want to do a we want to do a photo. Chloe, do you want to explain that part so it'll flow a little bit easier, or do you want me to do it?
Mm-hmm. Sure, I can do it. Es tradición que hacemos un foto del
So
grupo.
it's a tradition that we take a group picture at the end of all meetings. So I'm going to count down from 3. And so everyone, and just some smiles.
Christopher, are you ready? Christopher says bedtime.
Yeah. Okay. Listas, listos.
Are y'all ready? 3, 2, 1.
¿Funcionó? No salió.
What about
Una
our
vez más.
interpreters?
We didn't get the
Oh, sí.
Yes, we need the interpreters.
Bueno, saludamos a todos en Facebook. Buenas noches.
Saying hi to everyone on Facebook. Good night, everyone on Facebook. I think that we can end with that and invite the interpreters again to take the picture.
La foto del grupo.
Oh, yay.
Buen trabajo, Rocío.
Okay,
Gracias.
one more time. Okay.
Aplausos.
Listos, listas, listas.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Yay. The interpreters are like
Okay.
the Oz behind the curtain on Wizard of Oz. But they're much cuter.
Un aplauso para todos.
Muchas
Un
gracias.
aplauso.
Thanks to everyone.
Bravo, bravo.
Gracias,
Muchísimas
comunidad.
gracias.
Please
Bye-bye.
Buenas
don't
noches.
forget to
Good
vote.
night.
Please don't forget to vote. Register. We can't register, but vote now.